Picture this. Most men assume women only chase younger guys with perfect looks, flashy cars, or bottomless wallets. Wrong. That's surface-level thinking. The reality is much deeper and far more primal. Women are not just pulled by age, they're pulled by psychology. Some older men trigger a hunger in women that younger men can't touch. Why? Because they know how to move differently, speak differently, and hold themselves with a presence that screams certainty. Younger guys might have the energy, but older men who truly understand attraction carry something rarer. Powerful, masculine gravity. They don't need to prove themselves. They don't beg for attention. And that calm confidence drives women insane. It's not about trying too hard. It's about being the man she can't ignore. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact psychology of why certain older men still get chased, while others fade into the background. And once you understand it, you'll see how attraction isn't about age at all. It's about energy, mindset, and the way you make her feel in your presence. 1. Confidence that feels unshakable when it comes to why some older men still get chased by women. The first psychological trigger is confidence, the kind that isn't loud or needy, but calm and unshakable. Here's the truth. Women are wired to test men. They test your patience, your reactions, and your ability to hold your frame. Most younger guys fail because they're insecure, always trying to prove themselves, always reacting to every little shift in her mood. Older men who get chased don't play that game. They've lived enough life to stop explaining, stop apologizing, and stop seeking validation. That's exactly what flips the switch inside a woman's mind. Think about it. A younger guy might panic if she pulls away, starts over-texting or acting cold. But the older man who understands attraction doesn't blink. He doesn't chase. He doesn't flood her with desperate reassurance. He simply stays solid. That calmness tells her something powerful. This man's world doesn't revolve around her. And that is intoxicating. Because when she feels that you don't need her, but you choose her, it sparks desire on a primal level. Women crave certainty. They want to feel that a man can handle storms without breaking. When you carry yourself like nothing shakes you, she feels safe around you. And safety is sexy. But here's where most men ruin it. They confuse arrogance with confidence. They think raising their voice, bragging, or acting superior is what makes them attractive. Wrong. That's just insecurity wearing a mask. True confidence doesn't need to shout. It's in the silence. It's in holding eye contact without flinching. It's in walking into a room without rushing to impress anyone. It's in listening more than you speak, because you know your presence is already enough. When an older man embodies this kind of energy, women feel it instantly. It's subtle, but undeniable. And here's the kicker. Confidence creates contrast. Most women are used to men who fumble, overthink, or try too hard. So when they meet a man who's steady, who doesn't get rattled, who knows exactly who he is, their brains light up. They start wondering, what makes him so different? Why does it feel so good to be around him? That curiosity grows into desire. And that desire, when fed correctly, turns into obsession. So understand this. The psychology of why some older men get chased starts here. Not with money, not with looks, but with a presence that feels unmovable. If you can hold your frame under pressure, if you can show her that nothing shakes you, she won't just notice you, she'll chase you. Because in a world full of insecure men, a man with true confidence is rare, and rare is irresistible. 2. Emotional control that drives desire. If confidence is the foundation, emotional control is the next pillar of why some older men still get chased by women. And let me make this clear. Women are emotional creatures. They feel before they think. They are constantly riding waves of moods, impulses, and desires. Most men drown in those waves. They either try to fix every problem she complains about, or they mirror her mood swings and get dragged into the chaos. But the older man who understands psychology doesn't get pulled under. He becomes the rock in the storm, and that stability is magnetic. Here's the truth. A woman doesn't want a man who's emotionally unstable. She doesn't want a man who panics when she gets quiet or lashes out when she gets playful with tests. She wants a man who can absorb her storms without losing his balance. And older men who still get chased know this. They don't react emotionally when she pulls back. They don't lose their cool when she gets jealous. They don't spiral when she doesn't text for a few hours. Instead, they stay composed. They let her feel her emotions without making them their own. That calm emotional control sends a powerful subconscious signal. This man can handle me. Now let's be clear. Emotional control is not about being cold or robotic. It's not about ignoring her feelings or acting like you don't care. It's about showing her that her emotions don't shake your world. If she's upset, you listen, but you don't crumble. If she's distant, you give her space, but you don't chase. If she's testing you, you smile, because you already know what's happening. That balance is what creates the spark. Because every time you refuse to react desperately, she feels both safe and intrigued. Safe because you're not unstable, intrigued because she can't control you. And here's why this drives obsession. Unpredictability. Most men fold at the first sign of tension. They argue back, beg for forgiveness, or start explaining themselves to death. When you don't do any of that, when you hold steady instead, she starts thinking, why doesn't he react like other men? Why does he seem so calm? Why can't I get a rise out of him? That mystery builds tension, and tension is fuel for attraction. The older men who get chased understand this instinctively. They don't give women emotional power over them. They respect her feelings, but never lose themselves in the process. And that's the difference. Because once a woman realizes she can't control you with her emotions, she feels something rare. She feels pulled toward you instead. And that pull, that's what keeps her chasing. 3. The aura of experience and mystery. Another reason why some older men still get chased by women lies in the power of experience. Women are naturally drawn to men who carry themselves with the weight of lived life, because that experience translates into depth, mystery, and wisdom. Here's what most guys don't realize. Women don't want to figure out everything about you in the first 5 minutes. They want layers. They want a man who feels like there's more beneath the surface, more than he's revealing. And older men who know how to use their experience radiate exactly that. Think about it. A younger guy might rush to tell a woman his whole life story, exaggerate his achievements, or constantly try to prove he's interesting. That reeks of insecurity. The older man who gets chased doesn't need to sell himself. He lets his presence, his energy, and his subtle hints of experience do the talking. Maybe it's the way he references something he's done without bragging. Maybe it's the calmness in his voice when he talks about challenges he's already overcome. Maybe it's the way he listens with patience instead of interrupting. These small cues tell her, this man has lived, this man knows things, this man isn't like the rest. And here's the psychology behind it. Mystery creates obsession. When a woman feels like she can't quite figure you out, her mind starts working overtime. She starts asking herself, what makes him so calm? What has he been through? Why does he seem so different from other men? That curiosity plants you in her thoughts long after you've left the room. Every unanswered question is like a hook that keeps pulling her back toward you. But here's where most men ruin it. They think mystery means being secretive, cold, or evasive. That's not it. Mystery isn't about hiding who you are. It's about not needing to dump everything out for approval. It's about letting her earn pieces of you over time. The older man who understands this never tries to impress with a resume of accomplishments. He lets her feel impressed by the way he carries himself. That difference is subtle but powerful. And here's the kicker. Experience doesn't just create mystery, it creates contrast. Younger guys might have energy, but they don't have the depth. Women crave a man who feels like he's seen the world, who won't break under pressure, who carries a quiet strength forged through challenges. That combination of depth and restraint is rare, and rarity always gets chased. So understand this. If you want to know why some older men get pursued while others get ignored, it's because they know how to use their experience as an aura, not a sales pitch. They let women lean in, curious, hungry, and intrigued. And once a woman is intrigued, she'll keep chasing until she finds out more. 4. Independence that feels untouchable. One of the strongest psychological reasons why some older men still get chased by women is their sense of independence. And I'm not just talking about financial independence, though that helps. I'm talking about emotional, mental, and lifestyle independence. Women are instinctively drawn to men who have their own lives, their own routines, their own passions. Because here's the truth. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man who makes her the center of his universe. The men who get chased never fall into that trap. They already have a life that feels full, and she wants to be part of it, not the whole thing. Think about the difference. A younger guy might rearrange his entire schedule just because she texts, "Want to hang out?" He cancels his plans, he drops his priorities, and he gives off the vibe that she is his only source of excitement. At first, she might enjoy the attention, but deep down, she loses respect. Why? Because women don't want to be your purpose. They want to be attracted to a man who already has one. The older man who gets chased understands this. He doesn't neglect his goals, his work, or his routine just to please her. He values her, sure, but he values himself more. That's what creates the pull. Here's the psychology. Independence equals scarcity. When a man is independent, his time feels valuable. He's not always available, and that lack of constant access makes women crave him more. She starts thinking, what's he doing when he's not with me? Why does he seem so fulfilled without needing me around all the time? That curiosity keeps her invested. It makes her chase. Because now she wants to earn a spot in his world, rather than feeling like she was handed the keys for free. But here's the mistake most men make. They hear independence and they swing too far the other way. They become distant, cold, or act like they don't care at all. That's not attractive either. The sweet spot is balance. Show her that you enjoy her company, but make it clear through your actions that your life is bigger than her. She should feel lucky to be included, not entitled to it. And here's the kicker. True independence makes you unpredictable. When you're not glued to your phone waiting for her text, when you're not desperate to fill every moment with her presence, she starts chasing because she doesn't fully know when or how she'll get your time again. That unpredictability creates tension. And as I've said before, tension is the fuel of obsession. So remember this. Older men who get chased don't make women their center. They already have a life that feels complete. And that completeness is what makes her desperate to be part of it. 5. Subtle dominance that women can't resist. Another powerful reason why some older men still get chased is because of the way they naturally project dominance, but not the cartoonish, over-the-top kind. I'm talking about subtle dominance, the type that doesn't need shouting, flexing, or trying to prove who's in charge. It's the quiet authority that shows up in how you move, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. And here's the psychology behind it. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can lead, because leadership signals protection, strength, and certainty. The older man who understands this doesn't force dominance. He simply embodies it. Think about the difference. A younger guy might try to control everything, talking louder, cutting her off mid-sentence, bragging about things she doesn't care about, all in an attempt to look alpha. But to women, that reeks of insecurity. It feels like he's trying to convince himself more than her. The older man who gets chased never needs to do that. He's comfortable in his skin, so his dominance comes out naturally. It's in the way he chooses a table at a restaurant without hesitation. It's in the way he leads the conversation with calm direction, never fumbling or second-guessing. It's in the way he makes decisions without seeking endless approval. Those subtle actions tell her, this man knows who he is, and he knows where he's going. And here's what makes it magnetic. Subtle dominance creates polarity. Polarity is the spark between masculine and feminine energy. When a man holds firm in his masculine presence, calm, decisive, grounded, women naturally lean into their feminine side. They relax, they feel safer, they feel more attracted, and that attraction pushes them to chase. It's instinct, not logic. She doesn't sit there analyzing why she feels pulled to him. She just does. Now, let's be clear. Dominance doesn't mean being controlling or disrespectful. The older men who get chased know the line. They don't bark orders or make women feel small. Instead, they create an environment where she feels taken care of, where she can trust his direction. That's why she follows his lead willingly, because she wants to, not because she has to. And here's the key most men miss. Dominance is amplified by restraint. When you don't need to dominate every second, when you let her have space but step in at the right moments, she feels the balance. That balance creates tension. And tension, once again, is what turns attraction into obsession. She starts thinking, why does it feel so easy to follow his lead? Why do I feel more feminine and alive around him? That inner dialogue is what keeps her chasing. So understand this. Women aren't running after older men just because of experience or stability. They're running because those men project subtle dominance in every interaction. It's not loud, it's not forced, it's natural. And when a man embodies that energy, women don't just notice him, they chase him, because deep down, they can't resist the gravity of masculine certainty. 6. The power of selective attention. One of the biggest psychological reasons women chase certain older men is because of how they give their attention. Not all the time, not to everyone, and not in a desperate, scattered way. Their attention is selective. And that selectivity is what makes it valuable. Here's the truth. Attention is the most expensive currency in today's world. Everyone is chasing likes, validation, and constant acknowledgement. Most men give their attention away too cheaply, texting back instantly, complimenting endlessly, making themselves available 24/7. That cheapens their value. But older men who get chased, they understand that scarcity creates demand. Think about it. When you're with her and you lock in, your attention feels powerful because you're fully present. You're not glued to your phone. You're not fidgeting or distracted. You're giving her the full weight of your focus. That kind of presence makes her feel seen in a way most men never provide. But here's the key. You don't give it constantly. You give it when you choose. And that contrast is what makes her crave it more. Psychologically, this triggers a loop in her mind. When she has your attention, she feels special, elevated, chosen. But when you pull it back, when you return to your own world, your goals, your mission, she feels the absence. And that absence drives her to chase it again. It's the same principle that makes people addicted to games, social media, or rewards, intermittent reinforcement. When the reward isn't guaranteed, when it comes unpredictably, it becomes 10 times more powerful. Now here's where most men ruin it. They either flood her with attention until it smothers her, or they swing to the opposite extreme and starve her of it completely. Both kill attraction. The balance is in giving her just enough to feel connected, then pulling back to let her miss you. That rhythm creates tension, and tension is the lifeblood of obsession. And here's the kicker. Selective attention signals value. When you're not available for every call, every text, every whim, she realizes your life doesn't revolve around her. That makes her chase because she wants to earn a bigger place in your world. She starts wondering, what does he do when he's not with me? Who else has his attention? Why does it feel so addictive when he finally focuses on me? That curiosity fuels her desire. So remember this, the men who get chased aren't the ones giving endless attention. They're the ones who treat it like gold. They offer it with presence, then take it away without guilt. And in that push-pull dynamic, women don't just want their attention. They chase it, they compete for it, and they become addicted to it. 7. Patience that builds the chase. The final reason why some older men still get chased by women comes down to patience, the kind that feels rare, controlled, and deliberate. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about restraint. It's about knowing that attraction grows in silence, in space, in the moments when you don't rush. Younger guys ruin this all the time. They meet a woman, feel the spark, and immediately try to push things forward. They blow up her phone, try to secure the next date, or push for physical intimacy too soon. In their mind, speed equals success. But in reality, speed kills mystery. It suffocates the chase. Older men who get pursued understand the opposite truth. Patience fuels desire. They don't need to rush because they know that attraction is not built in one conversation, one night, or one kiss. It's built slowly, through tension, through time, through the anticipation she feels when she's not with you. When you hold back, when you don't reveal everything at once, when you don't chase her down the moment she gives a signal, you give her the gift of longing. And longing is what makes her chase. Here's the psychology. Women are addicted to the build-up. The space between what they feel and what they get is where their imagination runs wild. And imagination is far more powerful than reality. When you're patient, she fills in the blanks herself. She thinks about you. She wonders why you're not rushing. She compares you to every other man who pushed too fast. That curiosity turns into craving. That craving turns into obsession. But here's the mistake most men make. They confuse patience with passivity. They think being patient means doing nothing, showing no intent, or acting disinterested. Wrong. Patience is active restraint. You still flirt. You still lead. You still create tension, but you don't rush to close the gap. You let her come toward you. You match her energy, but you never sprint ahead of it. That balance keeps her chasing, because she never feels like she fully has you. And here's the kicker. Patience also signals abundance. A man who can wait is a man who knows he has options. He's not desperate to lock something down because he already feels secure in himself. That security makes him more attractive. She feels it. She knows it. And it drives her insane. Because when you're patient, she realizes she has to work for your time, your affection, your commitment. And once she starts working for it, she's invested. And once she's invested, she chases. So remember this. Patience isn't weakness. It's power. It's the quiet discipline that separates men who smother from men who get pursued. And when you combine patience with confidence, independence, and subtle dominance, you create a force women can't resist. Because patience keeps the fire alive long enough for her attraction to turn into obsession. Now you understand why some older men don't just attract women, they get chased. It's not about luck, and it's not about age. It's about psychology. Confidence that feels unshakable, emotional control that never bends, experience that creates mystery, independence that makes you rare, subtle dominance that draws her in, selective attention that feels addictive, and patience that builds tension until she can't resist. These aren't tricks. These aren't games. These are traits forged through discipline, self-respect, and mastery of presence. Most men rush, chase, and beg for validation. That's why they lose. The men who win, the men who make women chase, are the ones who hold their ground and let attraction breathe. They don't need to prove themselves. They already are enough. And that's exactly why women invest, why they compete, why they obsess. So, if you take one thing away, let it be this: don't run after women. Build yourself into the man who doesn't have to. Because when you master these traits, you won't be asking, how do I make her like me? Instead, you'll notice she's already chasing, and you'll be the one choosing whether she's worth your time. That's real power. That's why some older men never stop winning.